quarterback position. But as I've said throughout this preseason, I go back to Arizona last year in the playoffs. They were hideous in that playoff game. They needed a third quarterback. So this guy, he might not play, or he could be a big part of your team. How much of a decision is there for Chip Kelly, or do you think it's an easy decision?
No, I think it's very difficult, and there's been discussions like I wrote about that. You might just keep two quarterbacks. I've actually got a column coming out tomorrow that I just think that's a huge mistake. Not only is Sam Bradford, known to be injury prone and hasn't played in 2 years, so you don't know what you're going to get out of him. I mean, as good as he's looked so far, there's always one hit away. Plus the league's recent ruling about how it's pretty much open season on quarterbacks, and they're trying to hand off the ball now. That pretty much guarantees that Bradford and Sanchez are going to go down at some point. So if that's the case, you absolutely need a third quarterback.
For your money right now, who is winning that battle?
If I'm making the pick, I'm keeping Tebow. Only because he hasn't been that much better. I don't think either guy has been particularly impressive. But I've seen Barkley's act for 2 years, and he's done absolutely nothing to show me that he has any kind of future here. So, and he's done nothing to show that he could handle the offense if you really need to. If there was a really big gap between the two, and Barkley was that much farther ahead, which he should be when you're in the third year of a system as opposed to in your third month, you would think that Barkley would have the job one hands down. But since he doesn't, I'm going with Tebow. Even though the 2-point conversions didn't work out so well in Green Bay, I still think he has that versatility that gives him the edge. Plus, he's a pretty good guy, so I'm going with Tim Tebow if I'm making a pick.
I know you've chronicled how much of a nice guy that Tim Tebow is. Is he, though, improving on the field? I know you guys don't get a chance to really see them, but do you, for what the small sample size and just getting the feel around him, is Tim Tebow advancing?
I'm going to go by what the coaches say, and the coaches say yes. He's shown marked improvement since he got there. With his throwing mechanics, his decision-making, his accuracy, and what we saw during training camp practices told me that I thought he was pretty impressive. I mean, he's not a starter, but I think he's a serviceable backup and, a potential wildcat weapon, if you will. His decision-making kind of bothers me a little bit. He seems to hold the ball too long. I think he's just so afraid of making a mistake sometimes instead of just letting it fly and letting his instincts take over. Maybe that'll come with time. At least I would hope so. But I think he's proven himself enough to think that he could be the third-string quarterback for the Eagles.
Talking with Dave Weinberg, Press of Atlantic City, Eagles beat reporter for a long time now, and obviously this team really put itself on the map the other night with the way that it executed. Sam Bradford looked pretty darn good. Did he answer every question for you? Are you now saying, look, I've seen enough from Sam, he's ready to go?
Oh, I'm not playing him against the Jets now, if that's what you're asking.
No, but I mean, I know you don't want to play him against the Jets. Nobody plays their guy in that game. But have you seen enough to say this guy's ready? I think when the lights go on, he's ready to go. Has he got enough to show and make you comfortable with what you've seen from him to move forward?
Yes. Yeah, I've been really impressed with him. I mean, just from the start of training camp on, he's shown no ill effects from the knee injuries, not wearing a brace or anything, so moving around pretty well, making all the throws that he needs to make. And I'm really impressed with his command of everything. When he's some guys, when they just walk on the field, that they're better than everybody else just by the way they carry themselves, by the way they act, by the way they play. And he's one of those guys. He's a starting quarterback in the NFL, and he's a really good one just by the way he carries himself. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's just this aura about him that you get with all certain guys, and he's one of the guys that has that.
Dave, let's jump on to a couple of interesting storylines. Chip Kelly, as you tweeted, knows everything about every player, but he doesn't know which knee is bothering Kiko Alonso. And some people have asked, is this an extension of that ACL? Is that still sore? I guess Chip is not forthcoming, but is there some concern that Kiko Alonso may not be fully healthy?
Well, they're saying no. He did practice today, and he practiced yesterday, so I guess it was just kind of like a minor irritation of whatever. But they've been quick to point out that it's not related to the ACL, although if you don't know what knee it is, I don't know how you can tell that. But I think there should be some sort of concern with him, though, because he hasn't played in the preseason at all. And I would think you'd have to see him like a little bit to know if he's, going to be he can be counted upon as a part of that rotation inside. But he said today that he might play a couple series against the Jets, but I don't see what good that does, to be honest with you. If Kendricks and Ryans aren't playing, then what's the point? He's got to learn to work with those two guys, and the fact that he won't be doing that on Thursday, I just think it's a waste of time, and that's a risk you really don't have to take at this point.
I want to take a look also and get your opinion on Marcus Smith. He's not practicing. I know Chip Kelly commented on him today. He said, look, we can only go off of what we've seen from him, and what you've seen is not great. Would you be surprised if Chip Kelly cut Marcus Smith? Because there's been some talk that was not Chip Kelly's pick.
Right. But no, I would be really surprised. You don't see teams give up on a first-round pick like that really quickly. And in his defense, he did show some things early in training camp to suggest that he's making progress. He's dropped some weight. He's gotten stronger, knows the playbook better, and he's more comfortable now that they just left him at outside linebacker. I think they had penciled him in as that number 3 guy with Brandon Graham and Connor Barwin, kind of the role that Graham played last year. The injuries have gotten in the way, obviously, so I don't know what their plan for him is now, but I would be surprised, even though he wasn't this pick necessarily. He is the first-round pick, and I think Billy Davis was seen pretty high on him the other day when I was talking to him about Marcus Smith. He seemed to indicate that he's seen enough to suggest that he has a pretty bright future once he gets healthy. So, yeah, I would be very surprised if they cut him.
That'll be interesting development, and mainly because Brandon Graham last year played on 46% of the snaps as a third linebacker. Right. Who takes those 46%? Now, I'm sure it doesn't have to be 46, but you would think somebody would be out there for minimally, 30, 25, 30% to back up Connor Barwin and Brandon Graham. Who is that guy if it's not Marcus Smith?
That's a good question because they've been rotating, some guys, and Vinny Curry's taken some snaps at linebacker. Brad Jones has moved from the inside to the outside on occasion. So I guess it's going to be more of like a committee kind of approach deal rather than just one guy like Brandon. But that's something that they're really going to have to figure out because they don't have a whole lot of depth. They don't have a whole lot of options at that position. So I guess they're going to be counting on Curry and Jones and hope that Smith can get back and contribute as well.
Who is, in your opinion, the third safety?
Oh, boy. Ed Reynolds.
Wow.
I think. Don't forget, he was a draft pick last year, and he's a really bright guy, too. I mean, coming from Stanford. And I was really impressed with the way he kind of took advantage of all his opportunities, too. I mean, he kind of flew under the radar with all the Earl Wolf talk and Jerome Copeland and those kind of guys, but he's quietly put together. I mean, he had a really good first preseason game with 2 interceptions, but I think he's earned himself a spot. I don't know if they're really sold on Chris Maragos. I think maybe he's just a special teams guy. So I would guess that Reynolds would be the third safety. But I think he's outplayed Jalen Watkins. I think he's outplayed Copeland's been hurt and stuff. So I think they'll be okay with him as a third guy.
Dave, Fletcher Cox, Thornton, and obviously Logan. Those 3 guys, very good. What's the depth behind those 3?
Depth? Not much. Bo Allen, who played okay in limited opportunities last year as the backup nose guard. Then you got guys like Brandon Baer, Taylor Hart, who was deactivated for every game last year. Baer's not a bad player in certain situations, but they're going to be riding a lot with Cox and Thornton and Logan, I think, and those guys have been playing really well together so far, but they do like to use a rotational system to keep guys fresh, so it'll be interesting. But if you don't have guys to rotate them with, that's kind of a problem. So I don't know what they're going to do. I guess I'm sure Bear will be a factor in there, and Bo Allen too. But beyond that, it's anybody's guess who's going to be able to spell those guys.
All right, Dave Weinberg, Press of Atlantic City here, talking Eagles today. Chip Kelly speaks. They play Thursday night. Kenyon Barner making this team?
I think so. I was talking to him today too, and he doesn't seem to mind if he doesn't. He kind of looks at the depth chart, he said, and he knows that there's not a lot of room in that room, is his quote. That you look around and you see DeMarco Murray and Ryan Matthews and Darren Sproles in the room with all the running backs, and I think he's okay with the fact that he thinks that he's played well enough that he'll get a job somewhere if it's not with the Eagles. He wants to play for the Eagles, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't seem like he's going to be terribly upset. That he seems like he's pretty confident he'll get picked up by somebody. It's interesting, though, because you would think you would want to give Darren Sproles a little bit of a break. You don't want to use him as a punt returner unless you absolutely have to.
Right. And
Barner has certainly proven that he could do the job. So it's going to be interesting to see if they keep 4 running backs or not. My gut feeling is yes, but I'm not sure.
David, is there a guy, I mean, because the 53-man roster, yeah, there's going to be a couple of interesting quirks, I'm sure, here or there. But is there a guy that's under the radar that you think might make this team that would be a surprise?
A surprise? Boy, that's a tough one. Yeah. I don't know how many receivers they're going to take. I think Rasheed Bailey's really been pretty impressive, but he's probably more of a candidate for a practice squad spot. I know it's not like a so-called sexy pick, but I think Malcolm Bunch is going to make this team as a rookie free agent. They've been really impressed with him, his ability to play both guard and tackle. He's from the Newark, Delaware. His dad actually played for the Eagles a little bit back in the day. So, and I think he's one of those guys who they seem to find like 1 or 2 free agent offensive linemen that they can, develop and work with. And I think Malcolm Bunch might be that guy this year.
All right, Dave Weinberg from the Press of Atlantic City as the Eagles take on the Jets Thursday night right here on 97.3 ESPN. And, of course, throughout the football season, we'll catch up with Dave as the Eagles' expectations, Dave, getting higher. I saw Vegas. They're up to 10-1, 4th best odds in the NFL, man. It seems like
a place for San Fran, right?
Yes, there you go. They were 20-1 at the end of July. They are 10-1 at the end of August. See what 3 preseason games will do for you?
Yeah. So they might want to pump the brakes a little bit there, but nothing wrong with getting excited.
All right, Dave. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Take care.
You got it. Dave Weinberg, Press of Atlantic City, jumping on board on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN.